Backrack. Next, we have Mr. Moise. Mr. Moise, the floor is yours. You have 5 minutes.
Well, and thank you very much to all the panelists who are here today, and thank you for your time. And I just want to echo some of the comments made by colleagues here. Certainly as a new member of Parliament, and I've not had the opportunity to participate in the entirety of this discussion on rail safety, I too am disappointed that CN was not able to accept the invitation, because I think that they have an important voice in this, given their footprint across the country and including in my own communities on the western end of the GTA. I want to ask Ms. Eschuk and Mr. Martin, maybe, we look forward to the report that you've sent and digesting that as we consider rail safety. And, in your opening remarks, Ms. Eschuk, you had a number of recommendations, a long list, and you just elaborated on some of those, Mr. Martin. If there's, just to summarize, if there's maybe 3 things that we could focus on immediately to get make that gap of 20 years of improvements, what would they be?
Maybe I can start, and Teresa can back me up on it. And there's so many things that can be done, but I would say that the shift of Transport Canada it needs to shift back to inspection versus audit. That's what the shift of safety management systems has been in Transport Canada. And as Teresa talked about earlier, an audit is when you look at what happened after. An inspection helps you actually prevent things. And there's still the same role for the company. It's simply that there's another level of oversight. And that was the intention of SMS, and it never happened for the last 20 years. And that the inspections be unannounced, that regular scheduled audits are really good, but unexpected visits, like let's say your family is coming to visit and you know they're coming to clean your house, but if they come unannounced, then your house is what it is, right? And people get to see that, and I think it's as simple as that. And on the transportation of dangerous goods, because I think that's where really the people are really worried about the safety of the system, because we ship a lot of dangerous goods and we're very good at it, and we actually have a very good track record on it. We just need to be as good as we can be, and that means we need to focus in on the alternate routes. It's a big issue, big problem, lots of money. And so those are 2 of the things that can be done easily. And maybe the third that I'd add, and Teresa can add what she needs, is increased administrative penalties. That if you're going to hold people to standards, then they have to pay a price if they don't make that. And they need to be substantial so that there's an incentive not to make the mistake, and people focus on preventing the mistake so they doesn't cost them any money.
Yeah, if I could just add one more thing, and it comes down to the Transportation Safety Board. Why do we have them if their recommendations aren't going to be implemented? Kathy Fox testified in front of you in February, and it's been in all modes, the recommendations that are made to Transport Canada by the Transportation Safety Board aren't being implemented. Those are the experts at the Transportation Safety Board. Those are the inspectors that go out in all modes and they inspect and they find out why the accident happened. So in order to prevent the accidents happening, then Transport Canada needs to take into account seriously the recommendations of the Transportation Safety Board. And if they don't implement their recommendations, then they need to be accountable and explain why they haven't. Thank you.
And that we've got probably only 10 more minutes of this discussion before we move on. I wanted to ask Mr. Gagné again to weigh in, just having observed this entire conversation so far today, just because, as we've heard, BASIS is a unique model in Canada and perhaps in North America, and Sarnia again leads the way as it did with responsible care. So good for you. But I'm intrigued by all of the things that you've talked about in terms of emergency preparedness, the notification system, the collaboration with the community, your description of the events, the practice events that are going to take place with a cloud of smoke. That sounds like a very good initiative. So, what would you say, having listened to all this conversation, the frustrations of the mayor and others, how do we take that basis model and apply that across Canada?
I guess you look at what is causing the frustration, and typically that's when people aren't being heard or they don't feel like they're being heard. When there's objective information that people believe is the workers or members of the community or First Nations believe that they've got really solid evidence in their opinion that says this is what we should do, and there's no response. So I think though that's where people would get frustrated. And I want to be careful to say, look, like Sarnia is not perfect, but there are some fundamental things here that I see culturally with our member companies. I see also what you did at the federal level with the E2 regulations that you brought in, and that very much aligned with the responsible care and the CIEC tools that they have. This reaching out to the community. So my previous comment about, hey, it's hard to come up with laws that says that you need to listen, but actually that is an example where you do reach out and connect with the community, and the environmental emergency stuff under SEPA is quite effective.
Thank you very much, Mr. Gagne. Thank you very much, Mr. Muse.